I'm Gert Johnson, founder and coordinator of the Interfaith Story Circle of the Tri-City area. And I'm here today with two young women who are or former students of our youth program, Children at the Well Youth Storytellers for Peace and Understanding, Sarah Muhammad Ali and Adah Hetko. The two of them are in this picture that's underneath our logo up here. This was their first year, our first year of Children at the Well, and they were part of our first program. Mm-hmm. Sarah, you want to find yourself up there?
Right here.
There you are. Uh-huh.
I was in 7th grade starting this program.
Yeah. And what school were you from, Sarah?
I was at a Noor Islamic school.
You were at Noor Islamic school, right. And you have other people from the school there with you too. Who else do you see up there?
Right, there's Selma and Alaudin and Nasiba right here.
Right, okay. And how about you, Adah? You see your young self up there?
Yeah, I'm over here, right there.
There you are.
And I was in 9th grade, so I was a little bit older, but we all look really, really, really young.
Yeah, you do all look really, really young. You were, and you really did a superb job. I was just thinking, Adah is of the Jewish tradition, and there's two other storytellers there from the Jewish tradition.
Yeah.
Ben and Nate Hoffman and Kit.
And also Alyssa.
And Alyssa, that's right.
Yeah.
Alyssa
right.
too. Okay. All right. Can you tell me what it was like to be a young person of your tradition, of the Jewish tradition and the Muslim tradition as you became part of this program?
Well, for me, it was really, really exciting because I'd been through Hebrew school, and I had learned a little bit about other religions from being part of the Interfaith Story Circle and from classmates at school, but I'd never really learned through stories about other people's traditions with people of my own age before. So it was really exciting.
Yeah. So you were saying to me that you had been with people in school of other traditions, but not in this kind of a setting for the purpose of sharing stories.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd never intentionally been part of a group of young people who really face difficult topics and really probed into what it meant to be someone from a religious background in our generation.
Yeah. Did it make you feel like you were representing your faith?
Yes, it made me feel like I was representing my faith, but free to do it in a way that felt authentic to me. And it definitely kept me interested in my faith in a way that I certainly wouldn't have been otherwise.
Is that true of you too, Sarah? Do you remember what you felt like?
As a Muslim woman or a young woman, I was very interested in other people's cultures and backgrounds and religions. It was nice to be around people my age of different backgrounds because we shared so many similarities, and we talked about how similar we are. It was just nice. It was nice to be around a group of people my age, definitely, and I got to learn a lot of new things from them. Of their religions.
Sarah, do you remember what story you told that year?
Oh yeah, I told the story of my grandmother, and about how it was, how she was a student, and before back then in Sudan, where I'm from, women were not allowed to go to school, so it was night. So she used to sneak around and go to school until she got educated. So it was a very special story to me, and it was nice to share it with other people, and I've gotten a lot of nice feedback from that story.
Yes, I still remember people's response to that story.
Yes.
The audience's response to hearing that story about because they didn't know until the end of the story that who you were talking about in the story was your grandmother.
Right.
Yeah, you had a surprise ending.
It was a surprise ending.
I remember that. Yeah. How about some of the highlights for you of your time in Children at the Well, Adah?
I loved listening to other students' stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the first time that I heard Sarah's stories, we were doing, it was really early in the coaching, and we were doing an exercise where we would just tell the story to one other person, and most people were very much at the beginning stages of learning their story, and it wasn't really fully formed, but Sarah just like came out with this like beautiful story. Whoa! I was really, really impressed. And each year, the new group of students would bring their own ways of telling stories and their own interpretations of stories, and I just loved listening to other
And you listening
telling.
to one another and giving each other appreciations was a big part of your process, right?
Right.
Definitely.
You think the appreciations really made a difference?
Absolutely, because instead of, you know, like, of course criticism is needed once in a while, but the way the way the coaches worked with us, it was appreciations helped us grow more and helped us have more ideas for stories.
Yeah.
So it would be nice.
That's another way that it was different from school. It's completely non-competitive.
Very, yes. And
Yeah.
I think it had a lot to do with the success of the program, right? And the way you felt about
Definitely.
yourselves, that it wasn't a competition, it was a sharing.
Right.
Yeah.
And each one of you got to develop your own unique gifts and talents. You all had different ways of telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all got drawn out of you. So you told personal stories sometimes, Sarah, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I told a lot of personal stories that would connect me to my culture. I also told a lot of, you know, Nasruddin stories.
Yes, I know. They were the favorites of a lot of people.
Yeah,
your
because they're
Nasruddin
very
stories. Yeah.
they're enjoyable by people from different crowds, different age groups. So it would be nice to connect with the audience in that way.
Nasruddin was a wise man, but he was also a bit of a comic, right?
Right, he was.
So his words of wisdom usually came in the form of a funny story.
Right.
Yeah, in the form of fun, and everybody liked to hear the Nasruddin tales.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, Adah, didn't you pick up on one of her Nasruddin tales and tell it at another time?
Yeah, I was in...
I don't know if she knows that.
Yeah, I was in Nepal recently, volunteering at a children's home, and one of the kids figured out that I told stories. So I had, I think, 4 diehard fans, and every time they had free time, they would ask me for stories. And I started running out of the stories that I would usually tell, and I also had some stories that I couldn't tell because there's too much context,
Right.
or the plot was too complicated, and they didn't have very much English. So I needed like simple, really great stories. So I pulled out The Moon and the Well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She said, what did you say? You heard it so often?
I heard it so many times that it was very, no problem, yeah.
She could do her own version.
Aw,
So that was a tribute to you, Sarah.
that's nice.
She remembers your story, and it got told in Nepal.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And Nasruddin stories are popular there, so
Okay.
a couple of them knew it, but they liked it anyway. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's how you tell it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
do you think stories, I don't know if you knew at this young age, but do you think stories have a power or a value that you weren't aware of when you first started?
Absolutely. Like stories, the thing about stories is it has so much value rather than, you know, through dialogue or just the way stories come about. It's a stronger connection to whatever the message you're trying to come across.
Yeah.
So it's very...
They're enjoyable.
Right.
They draw people in, and they probably have a message in them, but actually it could be a different message for each person who's
Right.
listening.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.